Baseball has been opening up weekend after weekend. We were blessed to play this past weekend in North Carolina. If other states are opening up, make sure you put that in the comments so people can be aware of that. But it was some things that stood out. It was some things that stood out for me in this weekend that I wanted to share with you. Some of my players, they were out of shape this weekend. All right? And I asked them, I said, guys, what have you been drinking? And they said, to be honest with you, Coach, I haven't been doing what I was supposed to do because during the quarantine, I just kind of been slacking. Guys, this is not it. Being slacking and saying you want to perform, there were some guys that didn't perform for me this weekend. They were out of shape. They pitched well for one inning, but then next thing you know, they fizzled because they're out of shape. And it's going to show, okay? So increase your water intake. Build your water intake so you can be ready to perform. It's getting hotter, guys, hotter and hotter. We're getting into the heart of summer. It's coming up. It's getting very hot, and your body cannot perform on Mountain Dew, coffee, Coke, just a bunch of stuff like that, okay? Your body's not made up of sugary drinks. Get the water intake so it can help you perform. The other thing that I want you guys to understand is the power of visualization. Visualization. Start seeing yourself performing great. Okay? Start seeing yourself performing great, executing things the night before. Before you go to bed, start seeing yourself getting that base hit to right field. You need to start to sharpen that skill of visualization. I don't care how old you are. If you can hear me right now, you need to learn how to master the skill of visualization. Start to visualize yourself staying down on that ground ball, turning that double play. Start to see yourself executing, hitting your spots on the pitcher's mound. Right before you go to bed, close your eyes and start to visualize yourself making it happen. Because that right there is going to help you mentally come game day to bring your confidence out and to elevate your skills. That right there is huge. All right. Visualization is key. And I beg you to start to do it the night before. All right. The night before. Do it every night, but especially the night before. Start to visualize yourself executing what you need to do. The next thing that I need for you guys to understand is these are tips. When you get to the game and they done dropped you off, and that team has exited the dugout and you done dropped your bag off and you're going out to the right field line or left field line, you need to start to have a routine. Okay, you're probably going to start your team stretch, and that's okay. Probably going to start your team stretch. But after your team stretch goes on, if you need to get extra stretching, you need to ask somebody, ask a teammate. Yo, my man, come here. My hamstrings are a little tight. Hey, come here. My quads are a little tight. Can you help me stretch? Can you do that for me? It's important. Don't just wing it, because chances are you might get hurt and have a short season. All because you're like, I think I'm stretched. No. You know your body. You're old enough now to start knowing if something don't feel right. Don't be a hero. Be smart. All right? So before the game, I also want to give you this tip. If you're playing at a ballpark where they have open cages, like a complex that has a bunch of cages, man, show up a little earlier. I would do it. Show up a little earlier. If your team shows up about 5 o'clock for your 7 o'clock game or 6:30 game, show up at 4:30 with your father or mother or whoever you got to do. And get in that cage and get your reps. Early work. Get your early work in. Do what you got to do to gain your edge on the competition. All right? Do what you got to do. If you need some extra defensive work, sometimes in hotels, I love it. Hotels might have a little field beside the hotel. Take an extra bucket from the house, put it in the back of the car, and get some reps in the hotel. While everybody else is swimming, you getting some reps because you're grinding for your future. The more you put in, the more you'll get out. And I love it when I pull up to hotels and they're hitting wiffle balls in the open field beside the hotel. I love that. That shows the grit. That shows the grind. That shows that they want it. Play a little wiffle ball game. Keep baseball on your mind. All right? The other thing that I want you guys to understand is in your bedrooms, some of you guys got big enough bedrooms that y'all can get some work in by yourself. Okay? You can get some work in by yourself. Get some work in your room. Do not do full swings if your room is not big enough. I won't encourage that. But use your room as your workout area. Clear it up. Clean it up. All right? Use it as your workout area. I like that. All right? Right before the game, about 95% of the time, probably even more than that, right before the game, there's always a pitcher warming up across the field. There's always a pitcher warming up across the field. Why? It drives me nuts, and my teams know, the ones that I coach. It drives me nuts when the pitcher's warming up, and we got players just goofing around. They're already loose, so they're just standing around, talking about God knows what, and the pitcher is warming up across the field. You should get your bat, go right back down the line, or maybe in front of the dugout if you have room, and get your timing against that pitcher so your first at bat won't be your first at bat. These are little tips that will help you take your game to the next level. All right? So make sure you don't miss the opportunity. You could be standing over there, next thing you know, you look over there and he's warming up, you're like, oh, shoot, I got to grab my bat real quick. Like, you need to start to add that to your routine. When you see any pitcher warming up, you take your bat and you go and get you some extra timing done. It's to the point that when baseball does come back on TV, man, you can stand in your living room and get timing. Timing is very, very important. Learn how to get timing for your swing. It's going to help you out. And I see some hearts going up. Some people are like, oh, this is good. I know it is. I'm helping somebody out. Somebody's going to be the batting champion this year. I like it. And the last thing I wanted to say before we go to our Q&A, I'm going to have a little Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, put them down in the question. Hit the question mark down there at the bottom and submit your question. But the last place is the dugout for my small tips make a big difference. Last place is in the dugout. Too many times. I know it's your boys. I know you ain't seen them in a long time. You got to catch up on a lot of stuff. The dugout ain't the place to be having a picnic, a party, especially when the game's going on. Your back should never be turned to the game. That's ultimate disrespect to your team, to your coach, and to your career. When your back is turned to the game that's going on. It shows that you're disinterested. If a scout sees it, they know you're disinterested. Even if you're not, turn your behind around and watch the game. Okay, there's so much information going on while you're in the dugout and you're missing it. You could be getting your timing on the pitcher, so when you get to first base, you know when you're going to steal. You can learn how to do a delay in the dugout. Learn when to do a delay in the dugout because you see the catcher is dropping to his knees to throw it back. You see the middle infielders are not coming back after every pitch, going back to make sure that the catcher throws it back to the pitcher successfully. So they're standing still, so you know that you could possibly delay on that. There's a lot of information going on. You can see a base hit to right. There's a play at third base, and the right fielder doesn't have a good arm because when you see him throw it, it's like, ooh, his arm is not strong. Now you know because you're paying attention in the dugout. There's a lot of information that you can gain from the dugout. Don't miss it. All right? Do not miss it. I love it. I love it.